What's up guys, Technicals here. Today I'm going to be going over the 5 rules that I adhere to when it comes to crypto mining. I know I sound like that guy who was a star football player in high school who's reliving his glory days when I talk about the big mine that I had back in the day. But I learned a lot of lessons from then and I don't want to repeat a lot of the mistakes today. So I've imposed 5 self-imposed rules. No one's telling me to do this. These are all coming from this noodle right here. These are the 5 rules that I adhere to in this whole Mining Quest version 2.0. I'd love to know what your rules are, because whether or not you have them written down or top of mind, surely there are rules that you adhere to in your personal mining operation. Let me know what yours are in the comments below. Subscribe and let me know if you like videos like this. Otherwise, I'm the Technicals. Let's get into it. My first rule is amps, 100 to be specific, to be exact. 100 amps is all I'm allowed to mine on. Again, this is a self-imposed rule because I have plenty of amps available elsewhere, here, there, other places that I have, but I'm keeping it at 100 amps for a very specific reason, and that's because last time when I had the big farm, I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking more is better, more is good, number go up. This time around, in a way to sort of limit myself, I'm keeping it to 100 amps. So that's 100 amps in service, not 80% of 100 amps or something like that, because it's always 80% of this, 80% of that, 80% of this. 100 amps in service. So right now in the shed, within the shed section, the mining broom closet, I've got a 50 amp, 2 30s, and a 20. So that comes up to, put in the gif of that woman with the numbers and she's confused. All right, 50, 30, 30, 20, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, wait, 104. All right, I did the math, okay? So it's this many. That's what I got right now. So again, I'm taking the 80% of the total circuit is available to me to actually mine on. And so that's the 100 amp, 104. I've already broken my rule. That's, again, to limit myself from saying like, oh, well, I have all these more amps and I expand and it snowballs and it doesn't stop. And as you can see on my 200 amp service here, I got plenty of room because I don't really use much else in here, but it also sort of gives me some room in case I want to put in a welder, I want to put in some more circuitry or fans or anything like that. I'm not figuring in the support structure, the ancillary power draw. 100 amps mining. 100 amps used continuous mining. That's my absolute limit. That's rule 1. Next rule, I'm only allowed to mine at home. Back when I had the big mine, I did all my mining at my warehouse. So I'm a small business owner. I've got this warehouse that I operate out of, and it's got 400 amps available. We use barely any of it there. And so that's where I set up the mining farm. I had different circuits wired in, enjoyed a cheaper rate, somewhat cheaper rate, 3-phase power. And it was great. I had this nice big warehouse, but it was starting to impact the actual day-to-day business. It would be 20 degrees outside in the dead of winter, and the miners would make the warehouse with these big 30-foot ceilings like 85 degrees in there. It was just, it was unbearable. It was impacting employees. At least these other locations around the city that use barely any power, and they've got 200 amp services, maybe 400 amp services at some of them. And, you know, it's very tempting for me to look at that and say like, oh, they're not using all this power. It's a cheaper power rate. I could put a miner here, miner there, all that. In the end, I don't want to impact the day-to-day operations of what's going on, impact the employees that are just trying to do their job, or have to go off-site and visit these various miners if something goes wrong. Plus, there's always the chance that there could be a fire, could be a theft, or, you know, someone just leans on it the wrong way, or hell, mining rigs, you look at them the wrong way and they go down. So for this rule, absolutely, positively, will never put a mining rig or mining device of any sort, maybe helium miners, of any sort, in one of the commercial spaces that I lease. I will not do it. Now my next rule is kind of a tertiary rule, but I figured that a top 5 list is better than a top 4 list, but this is something I'm doing anyway. So the next rule is that if my hardware doubles in price versus compared to what I paid for it, then I must sell it. I must adhere to this command. So for instance, this L3 Plus, bought it from a guy I met on Tinder, bought it for 75 bucks. I bought 2 of them for 150. So This thing is not profitable by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know what Dogecoin would have to be in order for this thing to be profitable. But even with the Hive firmware, or whatever firmware you load on it, it's just not going to be profitable ever again. But someone out there is going to pay for it. They're still selling on eBay, and as of right now, with the prices going up, they're approaching about what I paid for it. I bought it to heat up a room because it was super duper cheap. So if this thing gets to double what I paid for it, 150 bucks, then I must sell it. If my S21 gets to $10,000, I must sell it. If my S19J Pros get to $2,000, I must sell them, etc., so on and so forth. I'm not going to apply this to parts like a CPU mining rig. I'm not going to say, well, if the motherboard's twice, that's not going to happen. This really only pertains to ASICs, maybe GPUs, but again, I'm staying light on the GPUs. The purpose of this is because, again, taking the lessons from last time, you know, I would buy hardware and then during a bull run, during a run up, I would sort of say like, you know, I would wait to catch, what's the opposite of catching the falling knife? I would wait to throw the rising knife. When in reality, I should have just sold this, because selling this for double what I paid for it will make more dollars than this thing could ever mine, ever. And to some extent, like the S21, because it's the flagship model from Bitmain, is going to be what people mine on for the next few years. Now, sure, they'll come out with an S21 Pro or S21Q Pro, whatever, but that is the base model. And so, am I going to be able to mine $5,000 profit on an S21? You know, that would take, you know, probably a year or so, but that's a year's worth of mining that I could then take, wait it out a few months, or shop for a better deal, and then buy it back. There's so many more options that I could employ doing that, because everything that I've ever seen shows that ASICs, you know, double in price. That's about the ceiling. And if it goes higher than that, then there are some other conditions that are far beyond the scope of anything that I could sort of imagine or parse in my head. So it seems to me that if my hardware doubles in price, I'm going to sell it, and I'm going to stick to that rule. What's that? Oh, you wanted to know about the next rule. Yeah, it's no buying coins. So last time when I did this, I had a bad habit, real bad habit, of taking the mining proceeds and sort of speculating on coins, trading, getting into trading and stuff like that. It's very apparent to me I am not a trader. I don't think TNA works. I don't think QNA works. I think TNA works just fine, but not that kind of TNA. I would take the mined coins and then I would go on an exchange because I'd get all hyped up about some new coin, and then I would sell what I mined to buy shitcoin X that is not mineable, just to kind of play the markets and trade. And I thought maybe, well, if I can mine $1, I can trade my way up to $5 and so on and so forth. I'm not doing that kind of thing anymore. It's too much time. It's too much stress. I'm trying to keep it simple. If you're in this space, you know it's stressful enough. If you're the kind of person that thrives on the stress of this space, then go somewhere else. I don't want to know you. Further to that, I'm not taking any outside money and buying coins. I'm just going with what I mined back in the day, what I've held, what I'm mining now. I'm not taking any actual virgin, sweet baby, unsullied money and putting it into coins. Now, I know if you're a die-hard, pipe-hitting, Kool-Aid drinking believer in cryptocurrency, you say, well, you should buy all the. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to mine coins, sure, and then I will sell the coins. When I sell the coins is really the only question. And finally, the most important rule of all is that I cannot use fresh, virgin, sweet, baby, innocent money to finance any of my mining operations. Now, this does a couple different things. Number one, it puts me more in line with my average viewer who doesn't have unlimited funds to just blow on mining equipment. You have to budget, you have to chase the most profitable coin, you have to be smart about it. And so if I'm forced to be smart about it, that's gonna make for better content. Secondly, a big psychological factor, it means that I'm always ROI'd. I don't have to chase ROI, I don't have to worry about if the miner's gonna pay itself off in time. It gives me a lot of flexibility and a lot of freedom and a lot of weight off my shoulder. That might not make sense to a lot of people, but consider this. If someone gave you an S21 just flat out and you started mining on it, would you be worried about the ROI time? You wouldn't, because it was completely free. Everything that you mined would be complete and utter gravy, just right off the top. After you pay your electricity and taxes and so forth, it would just be pure profit. If you sold the miner, it would be pure profit. And so I want to exist in that state perpetually. And again, this works great because it puts me more in line with what I believe to be my average viewer who doesn't have a big mining operation. Maybe they're just doing it on the side, working their normal job, and on the weekends they tinker with mining equipment. Which is another reason why I'm always pushing people to buy the product suggested in the video with my Amazon links. If you're gonna buy it anyway, it's the same price. Use my link, I get commission, I can spend more money on this, everybody wins. And once again, all these rules are self-imposed, completely and totally by me. I don't have a nagging wife telling me not to do mining stuff. I don't have budgetary constraints that I didn't have before. This is all in an effort to make the process less stressful. I'm taking the lessons I learned when I mined many years ago, because ultimately I got really jaded towards the end. Well, I'm still jaded, but it was very stressful towards the end, and I don't want to deal with that anymore. I like building machines that shit out money. And if you like building machines that shit out money, you probably don't want to have to deal with the stressors that go along with it. I want to keep it as a pseudo hobby that, you know, has a very high ceiling for profit potential. So that's what I'm trying to do with these self-imposed rules. And I'd love to know what rules you have, because surely you're adhering to some rules. Maybe you don't have a list of commandments like I do, but there are certainly rules that you're adhering to in your mining quest. I'd love to know what they are. List them in the comments below, because hey, I got a chisel. I can hammer some new rules into my stone tablets. If you like this video or other videos like it where I walk around in different places and talk to the camera and you get bored, let me know in the comments below. Be sure to give this video a like. Otherwise, I'm TheTechnicals. See you next time.